Good morning, class. How are you today? I'm so glad to see you all bright and early this morning. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend and that you guys did some amazing things this weekend. What's that, Michael? Okay, well, what did you do this weekend? Nice. Did everyone hear that? Wow, that's awesome. What was that? Oh, okay. Sounds great. That sounds great. Well, sounds like you all had a fabulous weekend, and I'm so glad to see you all again, as I mentioned, and glad to kick off the week, the new school week, with actually a new lesson that we're going to be working on. Okay, so I'm so confident. I know you all are so bright, and I know you're bright students. I know you do exceptionally well. So now, wait a second. What's with all the size? Now, I know you might be a little bit scared, but you guys have done so well. I mean, look, you guys have been counting in twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and fives, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Let's see what else. Let me look at my list. What else we have done? Yeah, you can add single digits and double digits. What's Michael, what's 8 plus 8? Good. 16. Susie, what's 5 plus 2? Great. 7. Now what about double digits? Who wants to try it? Okay. Susanna, what's 10 plus 12? What is it? Right. 22. And Seaton, what is 12 plus 13? Right. 25. See, that's not too bad, right? Okay. So today, we are actually going to learn a new lesson about odd and even numbers, 1 and 2 step questions. So I have a word problem, and I'm going to write it out on the board. Let me read it to you first. Noah and Zion, I'm going to use my kids as an example. Noah and Zion went with their mother to Toys R Us to purchase PJ Masks toys. I know you guys like PJ Masks. Noah chose 9 toys and Zion selected 8 toys. How many toys do they have altogether? And are all the numbers in the problem even or odd? Now, this may sound like a challenging question, problem, but there's just a lot of words, so I don't want that to make you feel uncomfortable. But it's much easier than you think. So why don't I do this? I'm going to go up to the board and we're going to look at how we're going to approach this. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get the board and we're going to get started. Okay? Hold on. Okay, class. So I'm going to ask you bear with me. Having a little bit of technical difficulty here, but we're going to make this work. All right. So now, as I mentioned, we're going to go through a few approaches. Now, what the first thing you want to do is you want to break down the question. Okay, let's look at the question. Let's break it down just a little bit. So the first thing you need to do is to write out what I want to call your groups. You want to distinguish who has what, you know, you want to look at let's just put it like this. You want to look at the who and the how and the what. Who are the characters? How much do they have? And then finally, what do we do? All right. So we know Noah has 9 toys and Zion has 8 toys. Okay. So we're going to do this, right? Zion's number of toys, okay, is 9. Okay. Plus, sorry, Noah has 9 toys. Zion has 8 toys. Okay, we're going to write that out. That's what we want to find out. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, just in case you get nervous about adding, remember what we learned. We learned about decomposing. Okay, so with 9, what's 2 ways that we can write that? Right, 5 and 4. Okay, 5 and 4 equals 9. Tony, how do you break down 8? Good. You can do 4 and 4. Great. So that makes it a lot easier. Okay. So 4 plus 4 plus 4, you guys have counted in fours. How much is that? Right. So then we have 12. Then we have, you can just break that down here for you a little bit if you'd like to. Plus, what number do we have there? Good. 5 equals, what is the total? Great, 17. See how easy that was? Great. Now, what you can do also is what we discussed before. You can borrow. Now we know 9 plus 1 is 10, right? So let's just use this. 9 plus 1 equals 10. All right, so what do we see here? An 8. But what we did was we borrowed, right? So this then becomes 7. That's where we got it from. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of colon there, and this becomes 7. Why? Because in order to make the 10, again, it goes back to the tens. All right, we had to borrow from the 8, which took 1 away. And over here, 7 plus 1 is 8. So we have 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 7 equals 17. Okay? Great. All right. So now we did solve the first problem, was how many do they have all together? 9 plus 1 is 17. Okay? That's the first part. All right? Let's move on. Now, the second part of the question was, are all the numbers even or odd? I'm just going to move this over so we have more writing space here. Okay. So now, one great thing about solving a problem is there are many ways and strategies to solve an addition problem. So what we want to do again is, remember I mentioned about the groups. Okay, so who are the characters? Who can tell me who the characters are in the problem? Who are the kids? Great. Noah. Let's change it up a little, get a little different color here. Make it bright. That one's not working too well. Oh, did I do that again? Y'all, okay, okay. Having some issues here. Hold on. Okay, you guys, calm down. Stop laughing. All right. So we have Noah. Okay, Noah. All right. He has how many toys that he's picking up? 9. Great. Zion has how many? Great. 8. All right, so that's a little better. Okay, great. So now what you do is you want to line up each number as we have done so, okay? And you want to put them in pairs. We want to do a 1-to-1, all right? So what we're going to do is write out, remember how we use counters? We're going to write out the counters according to the numbers. So 9, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, sorry. We're going to do them in twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now let's try with Zion. She has how many? 8. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, who can tell me what's different about each? Do you notice anything different with Noah's than with Zion's? What was that? Right. This has an extra one. So what does that tell us? Is it evenly spaced out? Okay, look at the last one. Is it evenly spaced out? Do you see the same amount on the top as you do on the bottom? Right. So when you see that it's evenly spaced out, think about that. When it's evenly spaced out with nothing left over, that means it's an even number. When you see there's something left over, that means it's kind of strange, right? So that's rather odd. So it's an odd number. Even never has any numbers left over. Odd always has numbers left over. That's how you can tell if it's an even and an odd number. After you write it out, okay, like I said, remember that after you write out the counters, keep in mind, again, I'll repeat myself, that if there are any numbers left over, that means it's odd number, meaning it's strange. If everything is distributed, that means it's an even number, okay? All right, so that is basically how you can tell even and odd. Now let's try a different way. Let's try it with a grid, okay? So this is gonna be Noah's side and this is Zion's side, okay? Okay, we're gonna start off, what you do is you do a tens table, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, great. So Noah has 9, Zion has 8. Okay, let's add our counters. Actually, let's use X's. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. What do you notice? Which is odd, which is the even representation. Okay? Noah, is Zion's side representation even for Noah? It's not. Why? Right, there's something left over. Look at Zion. Is there a representation? How's her representation? Sean? Good, it's even because there's nothing left over. Great. You guys are getting it. You got it actually. Okay? So those are two different ways that you can tell if numbers even on. So I just want to wrap it up by giving a few points. Let's go over a few rules. Always look for any leftover numbers. If you see one left over, it's an odd number. If you don't have anything left, any numbers left over, counters left over, that means it's even. Always go 1 to 1. That way you can see the layout to see if there's anything left over. 1 to 1 meaning when you're writing it out, as we did, 1 counter, 1 counter. The next line, 1 counter, 1 counter, 1 counter, 1 counter. Okay. And always remember, if you're having an issue adding, remember to decompose and break down the problem further, make it easier to solve. And always count one at a time until you get to the number. For instance, if you're counting to 11, you would count this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, something's left over. 11, that means it's odd. Now here's a handy shortcut. As we move into 3-digit numbers, You will always recognize an odd number if the last number ends with the odd numbers, which are, Tony, right, 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Even numbers, we know it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Any number, whether it's 3 digits, 4 digits, whatever, 3-digit numbers, 103 is a odd number because 3 is an odd number. 104 is an even number because the last number is even. Okay, so basically that's our lesson today. Now, was it as hard as you thought? No, it wasn't. So you guys are awesome. You did really well. So in closing, I'm just going to play a short video for you, and it's going to reinforce everything that you've learned. And I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. You guys, I believe, have specials right now. What is it, art? Okay, well, let's line up by the door, clean up, put away your papers, and we will see you in about 45 minutes. Bye, guys.